So what I'd like to do today is just walk you through how we built Notified and how these integrations work and how this unified data layer really makes it easier for our customers to access and analyze and measure all of their media outreach, their earned media, their user-generated content in one platform. And throwing on top of that, the distribution reports that we're offering because we've integrated your press releases with our media monitoring. So I'll show you that in just a moment. If you see across the top of my screen, we've built the platform out on 7 pillars of content. Realistically, 6 pillars of content and then our reporting tab, but I will show you all of these in just a moment. Starting with our Listen tab right here, our Listen tab really is the core of our media monitoring and social listening. What we're doing here is giving you an instant view of media exposure across all global news outlets. We're bringing in online, blogs, print, broadcast, podcasts, and of course, we're tapping into social media in more than 150 countries. So it's very neat that within this platform, we can actually isolate those media types in the search creation um, level or directly within the Listen tab. So a lot of different ways for you to pivot and capture that content that you're really looking for. When you log into our Listen tab, you will see all of your search terms populated on the left-hand side. It is entirely up to you how you would like to organize these folders and subfolders. And one of the neat things about our service offering is we do truly offer a white glove service in that we have a team of analysts and researchers that are available to you 24/7, 365. We're a global company, we follow the sun. In the event you need help creating search terms, or it's very easy within just a couple of clicks to create those search terms on your own. The system will automatically bring you 7 days worth of coverage that you can see up here in the right-hand side of my screen. But let's pretend I'd like to see 30 days worth of coverage. With just a couple of clicks, we can update this to 30 days worth of coverage and then have the option to search by date, reach, or engagement, depending on how you're collecting that information. And you'll see a lot of high-level metrics included, such as the number of posts, the total reach, and then we have these widgets that will follow you throughout the platform. And something that's very neat about this is, for example, if we wanted to see only the posts from July 19th, we would simply click on July 19th and the system would automatically filter out all of the other mentions and bring us only the results from July 19th. The same work for our media sources. So again, we'll bring you all of those media sources that reflect your mentions. Our sentiment. Something cool about our sentiment is our natural language processing is actually scoring that full article as opposed to the first 30 or 35 characters. So really giving you a more accurate representation, excuse me, of the overall sentiment associated with your brand or your search terms, of course. Our topic cloud, so really diving into those bigger, bolder, and louder words used in conjunction with their search terms. These can be used to optimize your press releases, to uncover competitive information or intelligence on what earned media is saying about your competitors. We would simply click on one of these words, and it would bring up all of the associated articles that tie back to your search terms. You'll also notice on our post, there are a variety of things that you can do with that post. And one of the most important things is the tags. We have the ability to tag content. So coming through each of these posts, depending on the content, we can isolate media sources, tag that content, and automatically generate a fully customized coverage book that is available right away from the platform within just a couple of clicks, fully branded to add to your executive team. We'll break down those media types, the earned media that's associated with it, all of the metrics, and you also have the ability to include comments. There are several different ways we can set up reporting within the platform, and that's just one of the ways right now. Something else that we're also including is our most active journalist. And what this is going to show you is based on your search term, journalists who have been actively writing about those topics, keywords, or industry in the last 30 days. So the goal for this is really to help act as an extension of your team, saving you having to search for search Google for journalists that are writing about your topics. And I think that leads me into a great transition to one of the main integrations with our platform, and that is connecting our Listen tab. So once we've listened to what's being said about you, We really want to connect you with journalists who are actively writing about your topics or your search terms through our fully analyst vetted media contacts database. And what that means for our clients is that our team of researchers and analysts are actively reaching out to all of the journalists or influencers within this database on a rolling 90-day period to ensure their accuracy of their information, the outlets that they're contributing to, their preferred mode of communication. And we're also including some recent articles from those contacts so you can gain some insight into their writing styles and, of course, any associated outlets. So if we're searching for a journalist, we're not going to find that name 7 times. We will find that name once with the 6 associated outlets, and then you can very easily pivot into those outlets and see all of the other journalists that are contributing to that topic. We're also doing the same thing for editorial calendars. You'll notice that while we're collecting the information on these journalists, we're actually collecting all of the upcoming story opportunities within that publication. So we'll give you the submission date, the publication date, the editorial calendar URL, all of the information that's required to put together that story. So really helping you jump in front of journalists and pitch your content. We also have a very, very easy way to search for this content in our database. I can search for ESG, but let's say I wanted to make a more granular list and search for ESG and environment or ESG and air travel. I can very easily come into the beats, select any of these particular beats, and make a more granular list. And we've recently just launched within the platform enriched email. So giving you the ability to really create those customized emails with logos and photos, fully taking on the look and feel of whatever you would like and creating those really, really enriched emails to send out because not everything warrants a press release that goes downstream. And we'll give you the full metrics associated with the distribution of those email lists. So several filters, depending how granular you'd like to get within our media contacts database, and a lot of different ways to create either very broad lists or very niche lists. Something else that's very interesting from the list level is the creation of our lists and using artificial intelligence to send you those recommended journalists. So you'll see every day when you click into your lists, again, I have my ESG list here. I've selected to include 25 contacts, but you will see that the system will continue to send me those suggested contacts. Who's been writing about ESG in the last 30 days? What are their other areas of interest? And do we want to make it a more granular list? Are we going to talk about ESG and the environment specifically, or ESG and the green industry? So a lot of different ways to identify those lists and how you would like to put that content together. And of course, analytics. So all of the analytics on the back end, bounce backs, duplicates, etc., will be available for you within the platform. So once we've connected with the journalists that are writing about us, we want to move into our distribution. So we've seen what's being said and who's saying it. Now we can distribute that meaningful content to those audiences in distribute. So to your social channels, your email lists, or of course, across the wire with Globe Newswire. All of your press releases will be housed within this distribute tab, and you can access all of your earned media reports. So as I mentioned earlier, because we are creating a search term on the back end of your press releases, we actually have the ability to run a media monitoring search term on those releases. So with each press release, not only will you receive the traditional press release reporting, but we're going to show you your placements, whether they're full text, headline, or social media placements. The view, are those views coming from a desktop or a mobile device? If they're coming from a mobile device, you might want to shorten your headline, add a multimedia asset. Our audience segmentation with your press releases, are you sending to US national? Do you have pickup in Canada or perhaps Mexico? Really giving you the ability to drill down and see where those mentions are coming from. And one of my favorite things within the platform is definitely the earned media impact widget that we are including with those press releases. So with every press release, you're going to see the articles, which are the number of articles found based on your press release, the combined potential reach of those articles, and we're basing that on readership, outlet reach, and social engagement, so the number of shares. We're going to include the exposure, so the timeline of published articles based on your release, the reach, the timeline of potential reach, so the potential number of views of that press release, And two of the really cool things that we're also including is sentiment and topics. So those topics clouds, those more common keywords matched from your press release and earned media, similar to the topics cloud that we see in the listen tab. And of course, sentiment. So we're showing you a breakdown and timeline of coverage based on positive, neutral, and negative sentiment with your press release. So definitely a lot of insights within that particular distribute tab. And something that I forgot to mention earlier is that this platform is fully scalable. So if you're only looking for press releases, we can set you up with the distribute tab. If we wanted to add the media contacts database, it's very easy to add that. And then of course we have the listen and measure. So very scalable depending on your use case. Moving from distribute to the newsroom, as an added value, you also have the ability to create and manage customized landing pages or newsrooms that are linked back to your corporate site. So think of this almost as a trophy room for your earned media and user-generated content. We can mimic the look and feel of your website. You can host any of your news, automatically pull over your press releases, house any of your multimedia assets, so your photos, your videos, anything that you may want to post on your website, your press kits, and of course the analytics. One of the really, really neat things about the newsroom is we can invite journalists to follow our newsroom. So you can collect that information, engage with journalists, and build out your lists as you're continuing to share that meaningful content. Alongside our newsroom, we also have an amplify board. And a neat thing about the amplify board, what this really is a streamlined and convenient way of showcasing a curated social media content feed in a really friendly display. So this can just be displayed on television screens within your office, on your website, after an event, during a product launch, really pulling in all of that earned media and all of that user-generated content and fully customizable directly within the platform. And then last but not least, we are going to move over into our measure tab. So our measure tab really goes hand in hand with our listen tab. So with the measure, we really are actually measuring the impact of all of this. And we can do this through automated reports or custom reports that are created within the platform. We can schedule these reports to be sent to you anytime you'd like, whether it's daily, weekly, monthly, the frequency is entirely up to you. And we have several reports that you can choose from, all of your distribution reports. So again, using those earned media impact widgets to compare one press release to another. But we also have some quick reports. So our listen reports that will bring you some high level information about your search terms, our social reports specifically. But I'm going to focus on the listen reports today and how easy it is to create a report from directly within the platform. Top content report is definitely one of my favorite. This is going to identify to you based on your search term where that top content is coming from. I'm going to select what is ESG, select done, and the system will automatically bring up that full list of media types and the most shared content. We can, of course, pivot our date range. We can bring in filters to isolate certain media types depending on what we're looking for. We can include pivot words. So if we were looking for information on ESG and ESG officers, for example, it would immediately pivot this report. So you can see we have the most shared news articles, we have the poster, a description of the article, and the engagement associated with each of these. So really helping you identify those journalists or those influencers that are talking about your brand or your industry. We can also save and fully customize these reports. So I'm going to use this as my example report. I customized this, added a logo. You can see we can include some scrolling animations, a lot of short attention spans in this world. Very neat to have this type of data in. And then the metrics within this are fully interactive. So we can save as many dashboards such as this that you would like. And if we want to see those mentions, all it is one click. It would bring up all of those mentions. We can then tag this content into coverage books, into newsletters, depending what we're creating. So very, very easy. And you don't have to be a user of the notified platform to receive this report. We can share a dynamic link with a fixed date period or a dynamic date period. And you can share this with your organization, your friends from college, anybody that you wanted to share it with. Some other cool metrics within this are the most active contributors and the most influential contributors. So who is talking about you the most and who is talking about you with the most influence. So very, very easy to use this to build out those lists. But there's even a little bit more magic within these reports. You can build custom reports, including any of our widgets. You'll see that with each widget, we include a description, and you can very easily add this widget to your reports and then customize it however you'd like it to look. And of course, our team is available to help you with this 24/7, 365. Just wanted to highlight one other report is our competitive report. This can be used for so many different things: competitive analysis, products, geographic locations, anything you really want to compare. So I'm going to choose ESG scores, mining, energy, and technology. Within 3 clicks, the system will automatically bring me up a high-level overview of each of those search terms, their key figures broken down by media type, and a variety of other metrics: share of voice, the topics clouds, the contributors. So a lot of information to create, and then we can just house these into in the platform for easy access anytime you would like to come and see them. So a lot of fun stuff in the measure tab, a lot of different things that you can create. Very, very, very easy. Again, integrated, intelligent, and easy to use. So last but not least, I'm going to take us through our reporting tab. You can see that we have several reports to choose from. Everybody has a different way that they'd like to receive this information. We have our straightforward newsletters that will send you a newsletter, whether it's daily or weekly or a couple of times a day, that give you a straight list of mentions from your search term. Of course, you can interact with them. They will include all of the metrics that are on the posts. We can create those measure reports, so those dashboard reports that I just showed you a moment ago, fully customizable, as much animation in them as you'd like, and you can save those in the platform. Our peak alert and instant alerts, for example, if you're receiving an average of 20 mentions a day and you would like to be notified if there's a day that you reach 30 mentions, it's very easy to set that up in the platform. And we can also do the exact same thing with an instant alert. So in the event of a crisis or something that you'd like to be notified of immediately upon mention, again, that's where instant alerts would come into play. And then, of course, those beautiful coverage books. We can create as many of these as you'd like. And as with the coverage book, where you can continue to populate content, we've recently added a custom newsletter. The custom newsletter might be my second favorite thing in the platform after the earned media reports, but the custom newsletter really allows you to tag content and continue to build it. So as opposed to that full list in the newsletter of your mentions, you're able to come in, tag that content, and generate a beautiful newsletter that you can continue to build and continue to grow. So a lot of flexibility and a lot of exciting things within the platform, folks. I hope you enjoyed our tour,